Hello, English learners and practitioners. Welcome to another episode of the podcast Your English Always Better. I am Charlie. Here you learn and practice English with stories and dialogues designed to improve your English comprehension and speaking skills. In today's video, we have a dialogue between Sophia and Daniel about Sophia's travel preparations for her trip to Greece. Pay close attention to the story, the sentences, and the verbs to firmly grasp the content in your mind. If you want, listen more than once. At the end, we will explain some words to expand your vocabulary. Let's get started.
Hi, Daniel. It's great to see you. How are you?
Hi, Sophia. I'm good. And you?
I'm great. Enjoying the sunny day in this beautiful park. And you, what have you been up to lately?
Oh, nothing special. Working a lot, but I always find time to relax a bit. And you? How are things at work? Last time we talked, you said you had changed departments at your job.
Yes, I'm in a new department. It's all good, still adapting. By the way, this new department I'm in now is related to tourism. I'll have to travel a lot. The first trip will be to Greece. Since I know you've been there, can you give me some tips?
Sure, but will you have time to have fun, or is it just work?
I'll be working a lot at a convention for 4 days, but then I'll take 15 days of vacation.
That's great. 15 days is enough to enjoy it well. Greece is amazing. I went there last year and had a lot of fun. I also met nice people and ate and drank very well. You will love it.
Wow, Daniel, I'm already excited and anxious about the trip. I have so many questions about Greece. Do you have some time now for us to talk?
Sure, I'm free. While we soak up some sun on this beautiful day, we can talk about your trip in Greece. I'm here to help. What do you want to know?
I'm thinking of going to Athens, Santorini, and Mykonos because I know they are the most visited places in Greece. From the photos I've seen, they are beautiful places. Let's start with Athens. What do you recommend doing there?
In Athens, the Acropolis is a must-see. It's an incredible archaeological site with a spectacular view of the city. The Acropolis Museum is another place you can't miss. It has an impressive collection of ancient artifacts.
And how long do you think I should stay in Athens to see the main attractions?
I would say 3 to 4 days are enough to explore the city well. Besides the Acropolis, you can visit the Temple of Zeus, the Panathenaic Stadium, and stroll through the Plaka neighborhood, which is full of shops and restaurants.
Sounds great. And about Santorini, what do you recommend?
Santorini is famous for its stunning views and sunsets in Oahe. Besides that, you can visit the black sand beaches like Kamari and Parisa. Don't miss a boat trip to the caldera and hot springs.
And how long should I stay in Santorini?
I would recommend at least 3 days. That gives you enough time to relax and explore the island.
And Mykonos? What can you tell me about what to do there?
Mykonos is known for its beaches and nightlife. Paradise and Super Paradise beaches are great for parties. During the day, you can explore Mykonos town, with its narrow streets and white houses. And don't miss the windmills, which are a symbol of the island.
And how long should I stay in Mykonos?
3 days are also good for Mykonos. That gives you time to enjoy the beaches and nightlife.
Wow, I'm already getting anxious knowing that I'll visit all these amazing places. And about the food? What should I try?
Greek food is amazing. Besides moussaka, souvlaki, and gyros, you should try dolmades, which are stuffed grape leaves, and spanakopita, a spinach pie. For dessert, baklava is delicious.
You know I like drinks, so what do you recommend in terms of beverages?
Ouzo is a traditional Greek alcoholic drink that you should try. There are also very good local wines, especially those from Santorini. And don't forget Greek coffee, which is strong and flavorful.
And about the costs? Is Greece expensive?
It depends on where you go and your travel style. Athens is relatively cheap, but Santorini and Mykonos can be more expensive, especially during the high season. Plan to spend more on accommodations and meals on these islands.
And the weather? What's the best time to go? My trip will be in July.
Then you started well because July is great. Actually, the best time to visit Greece is between May and September. The weather is warm and sunny, perfect for exploring and enjoying the beaches.
And the hospitality? How are the people?
Greeks are very hospitable and friendly. They love to share their culture and traditions with visitors. You will feel very welcome and embraced. I got along very well with the Greeks. I was always treated very well everywhere I went.
That's great. The travel experience improves a lot when we feel welcomed where we visit. I'm glad to know you were well treated all the time. And about the hotels? Where did you stay? During the days I'll be working, I'll stay at a hotel paid by the company, but after that, I'll have to manage on my own.
I stayed in a mix of hotels and Airbnbs. In Athens, I stayed in a hotel near the Acropolis, which was very convenient. In Santorini, I stayed in an Airbnb with a view of the caldera, and in Mykonos, I stayed in a hotel near the beach. All were great. There is a wide variety of hotel options for all types of travelers. You will find the ideal option for you without major problems.
Good to know, that's one less worry. And the traffic? Is it easy to get around?
In Athens, traffic can be a bit chaotic, but public transportation is good. You can use the metro, buses, and taxis. In Santorini and Mykonos, it's better to rent a car or a scooter to get around. The islands are small and easy to explore.
And how did you travel between the islands?
I used ferries. It's an easy and relatively cheap way to travel between the islands. The views during the trip are spectacular.
And how many days in total do you think I should stay in Greece?
I would say 2 weeks are ideal. That gives you enough time to explore Athens, Santorini, and Mykonos without rushing, see great places, savor delicious food, and enjoy your favorite drinks at ease.
Wow, that's exactly the time I have for vacation. It will be great to spend 15 days getting to know all the wonders you mentioned.
Yes, for sure. I stayed 20 days when I traveled, and it was more than enough to get to know all these places I mentioned to you well.
And the nightlife? What do you recommend? I like lively options, but I also enjoy quieter places.
In Athens, there are many bars and clubs in the Syrai neighborhood. In Mykonos, the nightlife is famous, with beach parties and clubs that stay open until morning. Santorini is quieter, but there are still some nice bars in Phyra and Oia.
And essential tips for the entire period I'll be in all these places you mentioned? Anything I should know?
Use sunscreen, especially on the islands, where the sun is strong. Drink plenty of water to stay hydrated. And always have some cash on hand, as not all places accept cards. Also, be mindful of your belongings in busy tourist areas. I didn't have any security issues, but I heard some stories of people who got pickpocketed. So it's always good to be careful and attentive to your belongings.
Great tips, Daniel. Thank you very much. I'm very excited about this trip. And you, do you have any travel plans in mind?
I'm thinking of going to Japan next year. I've always wanted to visit Tokyo and Kyoto.
Japan must be amazing. I hope that in this new department I work in now, a trip to Japan comes up. And when you go, I already wish you a wonderful trip. And if you need tips, I know someone who has lived there.
Really? It would be great to talk to someone who has lived in Japan because knowing the country from the perspective of someone who has lived there is great.
Sure, it's my friend Peter. He lived in Tokyo for 3 years, but of course, he traveled almost all over the country to get to know the culture, geography, and history of Japan. I remember when he came back and we talked, he told wonderful stories about the places he visited. And since he loves traveling, he gets excited to talk about his trips, so it will be very good for you to hear about his experiences in Japan.
Amazing. It will be great to talk to him then. Especially since he likes to talk about his travels. I know I'll get a good idea of what life is like in Japan. See when he can and let me know so we can arrange a coffee or dinner for the three of us. What do you think?
It will be great. Besides everything, Peter is fun, friendly, and likes to help people, just like you. I'm sure you will get along very well in this conversation, and I want to be around to also start learning more since now I need to deepen my tourism knowledge because of the new department I'm working in.
Perfect, then. I'll be waiting for your contact to arrange this meeting, which will be wonderful because you know I adore you.
I adore you too, Daniel. I'll let you know as soon as I can talk to Peter.
Great. Thank you very much. See you later.
See you later, Daniel.
Wow! Sophia's trip is going to be wonderful. Did you enjoy the conversation? Comment below which place in the world you dream of visiting. This way, you can practice your English while writing. Now, to better retain the content presented in the story, let's analyze 3 important words that appear in the text and their definitions and synonyms. First word. Ferries. Meaning: ferries are vessels used to transport people, vehicles, and goods across bodies of water, such as rivers and seas. They operate on regular routes and are a common form of transportation in coastal areas and islands. Sentences with the word ferries. 1. We took ferries to travel between the Greek islands. 2. The ferries were delayed due to bad weather. 3. Many commuters use ferries to get to work every day. Synonyms. 1. Boats. 2. Vessels. 3. Ships. Second word. Sufficient. Meaning: sufficient means having the necessary or adequate amount of something. It refers to something that is enough to meet a need or demand. Sentences with the word sufficient. 1. 3 days are sufficient to explore the city. 2. Do we have sufficient food for the party? 3. She didn't feel sufficient preparation for the exam. Synonyms. 1. Adequate. 2. Enough. 3. Ample. Third word. Awaiting. Meaning: awaiting means to be waiting for something or someone. It refers to the act of remaining in a state of expectation. Sentences with the word awaiting. 1. I'm awaiting your response to the invitation. 2. The passengers are awaiting the arrival of the train. 3. She is eagerly awaiting the results of her application. Synonyms. 1. Waiting. 2. Expecting. 3. Anticipating. Now let's ask 3 questions to see if you paid close attention to the dialogue. Formulate the answer in your mind in the way you think is correct. The important thing is to do the exercise to help improve your level of English comprehension. Question 1. How long will Sophia stay in Greece between work and vacation? Question 2. What did Daniel answer to Sophia when she asked about the costs in Greece? Question 3. How did Daniel travel between the islands when he was in Greece? Well, dear English learner, look at what I'm going to do for you now. I'll leave here the sections related to the 3 questions, with the appropriate answers. So, I hope you answered the questions. If you haven't answered yet, pause the video, answer, and then come back to check the answers and see if you answered more or less the same. I hope you did well. Let's go. The first question was about how long Sophia will stay in Greece between work and vacation. See the part of the dialogue with the answer.
Sure, but will you have time to have fun, or is it just work?
I'll be working a lot at a convention for 4 days, but then I'll take 15 days of vacation.
The second question was Sophia asking Daniel about the costs in Greece, if things were very expensive. See the part of the dialogue with the answer.
Is Greece expensive?
It depends on where you go and your travel style. Athens is relatively cheap, but Santorini and Mykonos can be more expensive, especially during the high season. Plan to spend more on accommodations and meals on these islands.
The third question was Sophia asking how Daniel traveled between the islands in Greece. See the part of the dialogue with the answer.
And how did you travel between the islands?
I used ferries. It's an easy and relatively cheap way to travel between the islands. The views during the trip are spectacular.
So, did you compare your answers with the ones given in the dialogues? It's important to do this exercise to increase your ability to understand questions and formulate answers. This is crucial to accelerating your English learning. Before we finish, I'll leave a bonus tip: go back to the video and listen to the dialogue again. But this time, you will listen to Daniel or Sophia's question and then pause the video. Try to answer in your own way. It doesn't matter if the construction of the answer is not perfect. The important thing is that you keep answering the questions from the dialogue. This will greatly accelerate your English comprehension and speaking skills. Try it and comment below what you think. That's it, dear English learners. If you enjoyed this video about learning English by talking about travel, I suggest you watch the video that will appear here on the screen, which is also about travel. If this content was useful to you, take the opportunity to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for being here. See you in the next videos.